need to find this place or we'll be late.
Make a left on Astrology Avenue. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant right. It should be right here. 444 Spearway. Oh, turn.
It looks like Renee. Yay, we're on time. The James and Kellee Show.
Great, let's start the show.
Hi, Kellee. How are you, honey?
I'm good. I'm really, really good. I'm very good. I'm springtime is my favorite time of the year. May is my favorite month. My garden is blooming like crazy.
I didn't know May was your favorite time of the year.
Yeah, well, ever since gardening and landscaping and doing that, and it's just everything comes out and sings. And I just filled up bird feeders today on my property.
Isn't that amazing? Well, no, I don't do that. Dawn does that. But yes, they've been filled up.
Actually, I bought them today and filled them up today. And yeah,
I love watching the birds. It's so much fun.
I have a golden finch feeder outside my kitchen and window, and there's it's just made for golden finches. So the hole is very small. Right. And the only birds that eat out of it. And you'll see 4 or 5 or 6 of them all at once, and it's beautiful. Beautiful.
Guess what? We just saw an orange Baltimore Oriole. Bright orange. And do you know what it meant? Because I had to look up the totem. You know, if you guys, anybody sees any of these birds out there, look up the totem. But it means spirituality. It means angels are around. It means you're talking to heaven. The orange Baltimore Oriole. Isn't that cool?
Wow. Who knew? Yeah. Wow. That's amazing.
Who knew? Got to look it up.
Well, I'll never forget the time, everybody. This is my all-time favorite Kellee totem story. We're sitting in the back of my house we're going to go on some trip somewhere. I forget where.
I think we were going to Hawaii,
Hawaii. Yes, that's right. Hawaii.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in the back with my roommate Ken and myself and Kellee. And we just had Brian, who was at the house, who gave us all a drink, and he served us, and he walked back to the house. And the three of us, I don't know how we did. We just looked up, and there was a hawk flying over, and the hawk let out a sparrow from its mouth, and the sparrow flew that way, and the hawk went that way. And Kellee goes, totem,
male psychic. Somebody's going to be free soon.
Right.
And then you got divorced.
I got divorced. So yeah, you were right on.
That was so right on. Whoa, boy.
Anymore. I mean, really, that was just amazing to see that, and to have the three of us actually look at the exact same time, look up and see that.
It was really meant to be seen. You know, a totem is that way. We should do another show on totems because I love working with totems. But totems are meant to be seen.
The only other time I did that with Kellee was when I was at my Beyond party in Hollywood. It was for my TV show Beyond, we threw a party in the beginning, and it was at Hollywood Boulevard in La Brea, right there in a club.
I know exactly where that is.
100 people, and we're in the back, and it was like 7 at night or whatever, and we're big courtyard, and my friend Jordy, one end, my friend Dorothea, another healer at the other end, and mingling with people, and the three of us looked up, and there's this underneath this big thing, this machine, this UFO, close encounters, the lights come down. I'm like,
and you all three saw it?
Yes.
Wow.
Nobody else that we know of, but the three of us saw it separately across the room. So it was really interesting.
Wow. Well, it's always fun to be with you. That's it, good. Oh my gosh.
What's going on with the planets? A lot. Eclipse season.
Oh my God. There's so much going on. So this is really a big week, you guys. This is such an unusual week. Yeah. In fact, you guys might want to get a pen or a pencil or something and some paper because we're going to be giving out lots of information today. But let's just start with the astrology, which is tomorrow. We're already feeling the effects. Mercury goes retrograde. It begins in Gemini, James. And about a week and a half later, it goes into Taurus retrograde. So it starts in 1. This is how wacky.
I didn't know that could happen.
It's
Kellee.
so unusual. It's so
never heard that before.
Yes, it starts in Gemini, and then about a week and a half later goes into Taurus.
Never heard that before. Wow.
It's such a wacky time. So this Mercury in retrograde begins tomorrow on May 10th, and it goes until June 3rd. and it's going to feel extremely topsy-turvy, this kind of energy, because it brings a lot of chaos. And I want everybody to watch their state of mind, their emotional state of mind, because it's going to affect everything, especially that first week and a half, because it's in Gemini, and Gemini rules the mental state, actually. Gemini's rule communications. So this is not a really good time at all to sign a new contract. It's not a good time to begin a new project. Okay. Historically, this is a time to wrap up old projects. And the other thing that makes this particular Mercury in retrograde even stranger is it's between these two eclipses. And these eclipses are big ones. This one that's coming up is a really big one. So let me just say this about Mercury, this Mercury retrograde, while it's in Gemini, traveling may be off. So I know a lot of people are going on their summer vacations. This may be a very challenging time because of travel. It could delay a lot of plans. So as I always say, pack your patience, because it's out there.
Pack your patience.
Pack your patience. And then if you can believe this, James, then on May 22nd, that's when it goes into Taurus. And when this Mercury goes retrograde in Taurus, it has to do with money and resources. So I want everybody to double check your receipts, double check your communication, reread those texts before you hit send. Before you send an email, read it and reread it. Okay. This is the kind of thing, because this energy is so chaotic. And what I find so fascinating, James, is that the ancient astrologers used to call, when Mercury entered retrograde, they would call it the underworld. That's what they described it as, the underworld, which I think is so interesting, because it really makes us go inward to this reflective state, doesn't it? So it's such unstable energy. You really want to calm your mind. It's a great time. We're going to give a lot of tips today, but it's a great time to do meditation. Frankly, it's a great time for meditation. Grounding yourself is excellent. And people that are either Gemini or Virgo, or have moons or rising Gemini, Virgo, really, watch the energy, because it will affect you probably the greatest. So,
and I have 3 people visiting me that time. 3 people. Yeah.
Coming up when? That during this period?
Oh, sure. May 16th on. I have 3 people visiting relatives, and then I get my doggies. And
okay,
so
let's talk about that. So now on the Sunday, this Sunday, which is the 15th, we have another major situation coming up. This is huge, you guys. This is the blood moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. And this is such a big one, because it's the first total lunar eclipse for 2 years that will be entirely seen by North America. Now think about that. In the United States, we will see this. And also, they call it a red moon because this moon turns red. It actually turns reddish. So Renee, can you put up the time that this will be? I got this for everybody because I wanted everybody to see this. So in Los Angeles, it starts at approximately, you see, 7:40 p.m. on this Sunday. But this eclipse lasts for 1 hour and 25 minutes, making it the longest eclipse of this century. That's huge.
Wow.
Huge. It's just huge. And guess what else? It will be seen actually by 2.7 billion people. So this will change a lot of lives, because this lunar eclipse is about destiny. It's in Scorpio, and Scorpio is all about transformation. Scorpio brings this intense and emotional energy, and it has to do with, it's a portal. Eclipses are always portals. And so this eclipse, this portal eclipse, really has to do with our soul contract. It has to do with activating our soul contract. It has to do about bringing situations into our life that will help us on our next stages of evolution. So sometimes this can be quite abrupt. I mean, this is a very intense time. It's a rare time. It's a potent time. It also signifies possibly an ending or a closure, where some people might say, but I'm not ready for a closure. Oh, well, I think you might be. And it puts us on our soul path. So they say this moon, this lunar eclipse, James, carries the weight of 1,000 full moons.
Really?
1,000 full moons.
So
Yeah.
as far as like a
Well,
full moon,
full
so
moon.
what can we do to
So
help
here's what
ourselves?
we can do. This is a great time. First of all, let me say what it's not a good time for. Not a good time to put your crystals out. I get asked that question often during an full moon. Not this full moon, okay, because of the eclipse. But it is a great time to journal. It's a good time. It's a great time to take a long bath. It's a great time to reflect on your life. What has your life? What are you ready to let go of? What are you ready to move on to? Think of it as the rising of the phoenix. You know, with the phoenix, there's an ending and then the phoenix rises up again. And it's this kind of energy. It's so powerful. So lives will change during this period of time. And I don't know about you, James, but I have heard so many clients tell me about sudden deaths. A
Oh,
lot of people suddenly they're leaving the planet. Have you heard that too?
yeah. So this is the second eclipse, right? Because we had the
Second, the first one was April 30th. So we
yeah,
are in between these two eclipses.
yeah.
Powerful time of change and transformation.
You're not part of people passing quickly and unexpectedly and surprisingly.
Yes, yes.
Even the
So,
readings I did the other night was that a lot of those surprises, sudden passings. It was
right.
really interesting.
Mm,
Wow. Okay.
wow. So what is this a quite a week, you guys? Quite a week.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. So
So let's go out to the time. Thank you, Kelly. My life is never the same with you with your astrology. As I tell you.
and Kelly, don't worry if you're listening, we'll get this to you.
So let's talk about our psychological and spiritual toolbox. And these times
Yes.
are very difficult. How do we deal with them? So
And that's why it's so important to have these tools in our toolbox.
yeah, 100%.
Right. So do
But
you
Kelly,
want to
you go first.
do you
No,
want
you
me to
go.
go first? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so I'm going to start with my one. So in this toolbox, everybody can, again, grab a pen or paper or write
really
things,
helpful to do that, everyone.
get some notes because I think it's a really good time to take some notes on this kind of these things. The first thing I want to talk about, James, is mindfulness because in my toolbox, everybody should have mindfulness. It's extremely a helpful tool because what mindfulness does is it teaches us to focus our attention on our body, our breathing, our senses, our thoughts, and our emotions in any given reality. And mindfulness skills can come in really, really handy. They are, and in fact, I have something really good to talk about with mindfulness. It's a great acronym that we can all use for mindfulness, and it's STOP. STOP. So S is stop what you are doing and put things down for a minute. T, take a breath. O, observe your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions. And P, proceed with something that will support you in the moment. So if you can remember, to bring you to a place of mindfulness, remember the word stop. Okay, so stop what you're doing, take a breath, observe your thoughts and your feelings and whatever emotions, and then proceed with something that will support you in the moment, whatever that would be for you.
That's great, Kelly.
Is that a good one?
It's a good one. Yeah.
So mindfulness for me, number one.
Okay. Mine was relationship with self love.
Excellent.
Have a relationship with yourself. It's hard to have a relationship with anyone else or love anybody else if you don't love yourself first. So first, love you, self love. Love everything about you. Realize that you're different than everybody else. You're unique. And I always say we're all diamonds and we're cut with each experience in life is a facet and everyone is different and the facets are different. And you never have to be like anybody else. You got to be who you are, unique to this planet, just like the snowflakes. So
You actually taught me that about me.
really,
You actually did. You would always say, "You're unique. It's good to be unique. You're unique." And I would think, I guess I am. But you kind of hesitate on that because I didn't have what you were describing, but I do now.
well,
And I think it's so
in a
important.
society that people have to measure things, or things change
Yes.
every day. Now everyone wants to be an influencer, but things have changed because the differences are what's really what it's about. Our society was you have to be this way to be successful and then be
Right.
wealthy, and if you're rich, you're
Right.
happy, and it's all a bunch of BS because if you don't have that
Totally.
sense of self, first of all, then you have nothing. And people try to
Totally.
be what people want them to be, and you can't do that. You can never be what anyone wants you to be. You
Right.
got to be who you are. It's
Right.
the only way we'll be freed. It's the only way we'll be free and liberated is to be who we are. And what other people think of you is none of your business.
Say that all the time.
So
Such a
true.
great one. It's so true. But self-love is so important for that.
Self-love.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, I love that, James. I
I
haven't.
bought a cup of coffee for myself and I left it downstairs. Okay,
Oh.
well.
Do you want to go down and get it?
No, I'll be fine.
So the second one that I have are let's talk about resources. So in your toolbox, I want everybody to think this: what are my strengths? Because when you are going through a situation, you need to know what your strengths are. So it helps you with your self-esteem. So Renee, would you put this poster up? I have a little strengths list here, and I think it's really important. And we'll put it up, and it'll be posted on my website and on my Facebook page. But everybody, check out the strengths to see, because some of the strengths you want to look at, so you can always pull them out and remind yourself you have wisdom. Maybe you're an artist. Maybe you have extreme curiosity. Maybe you're a leader. Maybe you have persistence. Maybe you have social awareness. Maybe you have forgiveness. Maybe you are wonderful at cooperation. Maybe you have modesty. Gratitude is one of these strengths. So I want everybody to look at this list, if you will, and maybe you have love, confidence. And there's some great ones here, but it's a strength list that will help us all when times get tough. You have to pull out your resources and to resource yourself, because I remember years ago, I had been married. My first husband was helpless, constantly helpless. And I wasn't married long. He was constantly helpless. But I remember thinking to myself, I must have chosen him for a reason, because what it did is it made me become strong. So if you feel helpless and you may not have anybody to help you, you want to recognize what strengths that you have, because helpless does not need to be your first response. Okay, you don't need to go into helplessness. You need to know what your strengths are. And I love this quote by Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl was a humanistic existentialist, and he wrote, among many books, Man's Search for Meaning, which was
Oh, I
just
have it in my library.
right, such a great book.
Yeah.
And what he says is, between stimulus, so between a stimulus and the response, there is a space. And in that space, it's our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and freedom.
It's great.
Isn't that great?
Right.
So get your resources. You really want to get your resources. Where are you? What are your strengths?
Yeah, make a list of them.
Make a list of your strengths. So when times get rough, you'll go, wait a minute, I am really curious and I have a lot of wisdom here.
And Kelly, and this sounds really interesting, trite and strange and weird, which is what I am. But I always tell people in some strange way, remember all those different sperm that was trying to fertilize the egg. You're the one that made it. And that means you had to be strong to fertilize that egg.
You're the one that made it.
You're the one that made it.
Right.
You're the strongest one. So that's something to be said for the millions of sperm.
That is so true. Oh my God.
So let's go back to the beginning.
Right. You made it.
There were no accidents. You're meant to be. You've come with everything you need to. You come with everything you need to go on your journey here. But it's when you listen to other people and make their reality your reality, you go down the wrong turn. That you make the wrong turn. You go down the dead end.
You make the wrong choice.
Yeah, you make the wrong choice. Try to please others, live someone else's life instead of your own. Get your own inner strength. You got it. You just got to remember it.
Yeah. Get your own inner strength. What is the website that this will be on? Well, Jessica, I'll put it on my website, and you put it on yours too. Okay, and you'll put it on you'll put it on your Facebook page, and I'll put it on my Facebook page. Yeah, it'll be up either today or tomorrow, probably. Okay.
Wow.
Do you want to? I know.
You took a lot of my strengths from my toolbox.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay. Just a different thing. So, another thing which I was thinking about myself, which I teach people is, living the golden rule. Treat another person
Oh,
as you want to be treated. Every day in every way is an opportunity. And
yes.
everything is a growth period. Everything is an opportunity. Everything that even doesn't work out, it's an opportunity to see how you're going to respond to it as an opportunity and try to come from a positive point of view, even though it might not have seemed like it's positive. There's something positive that'll come out of it because we're all beings of love. We're not negative. We're not fear. Fear is a human emotion. Our really who we are, our origin is love. The soul is love. So remember that and treat someone else that how you want to be treated. That's the best way to live life. Treat someone else like you want to be treated. And then along with that is change the change your space, your energy. When and if someone's negative towards you, make it positive. For example, this morning, which I knew I'd
Okay.
use today, I went to a hardware store to get some things, my new pup. And I had this bucket of stuff, and I'm walking to the cash register, and it's open. And I see the one is open, so I walk to the cash register, and there's a lady behind me. And she had one item. I go, "Oh, please, you go before me." And she goes, "I will. I was in line." And I said, "Oh, thank you for letting me know there was a line. I didn't see it, but thank you for letting me know that." And she's like, "Oh." Because
Wow.
instead of reacting in a negative way, it was
Right.
a positive way. And then I went to the other cash register lady,
I
and
love that, by the way.
she said, "I love the way you'd said that." I said, "Yeah, well, just being positive and loving." Because I didn't know there was a line.
Right.
And most of us, we go to situations, we
Oh,
don't know that person doesn't know something. Even we
right.
judge another person, we don't know that they're my friend Kelly taught me this, they're limited in some way. They're not
Limited.
aware of it. They're
Not
asleep,
aware.
whatever. You
They're
can't
walking
force
brainstones.
them to walk straight or,
Ah,
recently, like walking comas because
like,
this weekend someone compared me to an illusionist at a dinner. I'm like,
oh,
she didn't really know my work, and she knew Uri Geller's work. And she's like,
an illusionist.
illusionist. I said, I beg your pardon? She goes, no, I said, you need to see. And she was a Virgo, an older lady. And she said, I said, you really need to see me work before you say those terms that you might not know what I do. But anyway, it was funny. But I thought, a lot of people are just walking comas.
Yeah, yeah. They're
So,
walking blurters. So they're blurters. They don't even think. It just plop blurts. They're blurred out.
out, burst out.
Peggy Mitchell says, I learned the saying, what you think of me is none of my business from you, James. I
True.
said it to a person who was trying to make me feel bad because we were disagreeing on a subject. They were being rude and said something like, do you know what I think of you? And I said, your quote, what you think of me is none of my business. And they stopped and went silent. They couldn't find anything to respond to it. I love that saying.
Thanks, Peggy. Thank you. That
That's
came to
good.
me when I was working with I was on the Howard Stern show. And for years for years I didn't want to do that. They invited me when it was years ago. They invited me on that show and I was like, oh, I can't. I do not like what he talks about, the whole thing. And then one day I thought to myself, what good am I? How authentic and genuine am I? If I could say I'm afraid or I'm fearful, then what's good is more value of
Yeah.
my work. So James, you got to do it. So I went to New York, got up 5 o'clock in the morning in the hotel room, and I was scared.
Oh,
I
bad.
was like,
I
"Oh,
bet.
crap." So I asked for Michael the Archangel to help me. And I swear, Kelly, I saw this being of light, blonde hair, and kind of a sword going, you are taken care of. And I walked into that studio, and Howard was just getting ready to sit down, and I walked to my seat. He goes, I don't believe in this crap that you do. And it just came through. You really think I care what you believe in? What you think of me is none of my business. And he loved
That's where
me.
it came from.
Where it came from that I used it. Yeah, from that moment.
I,
And he loved. We had a great time after that. He really liked my genuineness, my integrity,
right.
my authenticity. He might not have understood it, but he didn't judge me after that. See,
Well, plus he loves great wit, and really, what you said just really just
yeah,
kind of just
that's
goes right to the. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, it's just amazing to me. That's a.
love you,
It's,
all of you, and
yeah.
it's the other thing that which is really important is no one can love you more than you can love yourself because no one else knows you better than you know yourself.
Which
There's no
goes to self love.
which goes to self love. And the other thing you put this in yours also is the power of observation. Instead of judging someone, observe them. Don't have a knee jerk reaction of judging someone. That's what you are
Right.
used to. Like Kelly just said, stop, break, have a pause, look
Yeah.
around, observe. And observation really helps a lot in every instance.
It
Even if
does.
you're in an elevator at the airport, observation.
I couldn't help it. I got
I know
triggered.
you
I
blurted.
couldn't. I blurted. I got triggered. What can I say? I got triggered. Actually, I got triggered twice. You're right. If I had that pause, Viktor Frankl, I would be good. But I something happened and I just, so
Well,
listen, I'm a
you're
work in
human.
progress.
We're all works in progress. The other thing you said also, Kelly, which is really, really powerful, is forgiveness. Forgiveness is right up there because, by
Yeah.
forgiveness, you see the bigger picture. You see that that person that you're working with is not aware. They might be on a certain level that you're not. You don't know what their background is, wherever they just come from.
Right.
When you meet someone, you meet all of their stuff. So every time you meet somebody, you meet a whole moving truck of all of their
Right.
experiences from the past and situations and emotions.
Right.
You're
And
meeting all of that.
and you're absolutely right. And what happens is when that happens is at first they might hide that from you. And then you discover a whole busload of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a real interesting thing. And that's the point where you have to go, wait a minute. And you have to learn about who you are in that moment with regard to everything that you're seeing. And that's where forgiveness, kindness, compassion can come in.
And observation and
Yeah.
self-love in that this
Self-love. Right.
recently where I was forced to kind of meet some people, and I could tell right away that these couple people didn't really like me. I don't know where it was coming from, but they didn't
Yeah.
know me. And I have to be kind of I have to they're friends of our friends, and I got to be nice to these people. I'm like, wow, but at the same time, I have to be honest with who I am. I got to love myself enough to say
Yeah.
that's not working for me. Don't treat me that way. That's not working. So boundaries, another one is boundaries. Spiritual
Boundaries
setting
is
boundaries.
huge. Spiritual and psychological. Boundaries is everything. That should definitely be in your toolbox, everybody, is to set a boundary and then hold the boundary.
And with that boundary comes self-empowerment because you're empowering
Mhm.
yourself and you're telling someone that's not allowed anymore. And you're not giving your
Right.
power away, which so
Right.
many of us did as growing up and trying to please others and trying to be approved by mother and father and our teachers and society. We have to approve. And no, it's no, you're giving away your power, self-empowerment.
And when you can step into that, then you are so whole and ready to go. When you can step into that self power of what you just said, it's
Yeah.
huge. It's enormous to be able to do that.
And we live in a world where we care so much what other people think of
Oh,
us. And when you're in self-empowerment and self-love, you're riding the waves, you're riding the wind. And
yeah.
I caught myself today. I was showing a gentleman who's doing some stained glass art glass work. It looks like Jerry Garcia. It looks just like Jerry Garcia.
Wow.
And I wanted him to see my garden to get inspired for this art glass thing he's going to do for my bathroom. I'm redoing my bathroom.
So pretty.
And so I said, instead of, can you come down to see me? This what town one above me. And he did. And he was walking around and he was so funny. So Jerry Garcia, the beard, the hair. He goes, wow, bro, wow, dude, you did it right. You did it right. He brought his girlfriend with him. And he goes, you did it right. Wow, you did it right. This is cool. And as an artist, I want him to feel the energy of the
Yes.
feel the vibration, and he got it. But I love, I caught myself loving that, sharing that with another person, kind of opening up in their ability, their artistic ability,
Yeah.
feeding that,
Yes.
sharing
Yes.
that, love sharing that
Yes.
with each other, because you don't get that often, that opportunity to do that and to
Well,
share that.
that's your strength. You're really good at sharing, James.
I
Really
share
good at it.
in a way, Kelly. Like I always say, the hardest part of my job is not talking to dead people. It's seeing the abilities and
Yeah.
a soul has, and they
Mhm.
don't see it for themselves.
Yeah.
And my job is to help them to see it for themselves as best as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're really great at that. Mm, mm.
What other one do you have, Kelly?
Okay. I have a good one here. I have a good one here, everybody. In your toolbox, I want to know, are you resilient? Because resilience is a big part of psychological empowerment. Resilience is that quality that allows some people like to get knocked down in life, but they can come back either strong or sometimes even as stronger. It's
Stronger.
it's the ability to rise from the ashes, the ability if you get knocked down, and in life we're all going to get knocked down, but to be able to come back. Now, let me tell you what causes what gives somebody resilience. It's often comes from, really does come from one strong relationship that you had. It could be a mother, it could be a father, it could be a caregiver, it could be somebody that loved you, because that's really where it comes from, somebody in a responsive relationship. This is where it comes from. But if you didn't have that, if you didn't have that, and there are many people that we know that are not resilient because they didn't have that, the good news here is that resilience can be learned. So it really does, it involves developing thoughts, if you can, and behaviors and actions that allow you to recover from a traumatic or a stressful event in life. So here are the ways to build resilience. So you want to prioritize your relationships. That means this: you want to be able to connect with people that are empathetic, that understand, and that these people are kind, and that they remind you that you're not alone in the world. Okay. So
Kelly, those
that's,
change.
mhm,
Those relationships, as you expand
yeah.
and evolve, those relationships around you, they're going to change. I mean,
Oh,
your
absolutely.
friends are gone bye bye.
Absolutely.
You know, a soul comes into your life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. And as
Right.
you would change, again, that magnetic energy will shift. So people will be
Right.
gone away if they don't get that vibration.
Absolutely. And then that also allows more space for a good soul to come into your life.
Correct.
So that's one way.
I
Another
can
way is to
yeah.
avoid negativity or negative outlets or people that are negative. So if you're trying to build your resilience, you don't want to be around somebody that's going to knock you down, or you don't also want to go into negative situations, drugs, alcohol, anything like that, because that's going to make it's going to bring you down into a
They'll
negative,
pull
and
you down. They'll
it's
pull
going
you
to
down.
pull you down.
They depress you.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely.
In the long
So
run, it depresses you.
right, right. So another way to help with building your resilience would be to help others.
I
Take
have that
action and
mental
help.
box.
You do. You have that on with you.
Yes, I
You
do.
have
Yes,
a
I do.
helping others. Oh,
Yes,
James.
I do.
Oh my God. So that is a big way to help others. We want to be able to do that. And we also want to be able to not just help others, but we want to be
Empower
able
another person.
empower others, empower, because that is going to be huge with empowerment. We want to set goals, set brave goals, and move towards them, because that helps you build this resilience. If you set some goals, and then you move towards them, it helps. And the last thing, that you really want to do is you want to talk to other people or yourself, or write it down about what did you learn from the experience. What did you learn? We can, from the setback, what did you learn? Because that will always help you move forward. It's always important to kind of look at where you've come from with it, and then begin the process and allow yourself to move forward. James, I lost everything, as you know, with my brain injury. And literally, I had to start, I was like the Phoenix Rising. I had to literally come back, but I had resilience. I had it in spades. Not everybody has that, but that is one of my strengths is resilience. But everybody can get it.
And you talk about those things that pull us back, but everything's an opportunity. Everything.
Yes.
Even though we look at it, it goes backwards. It's an opportunity. Like you said, look and see what you learned from this, what it taught you.
Yes.
Opportunity. It's so funny,
Yes.
Kelly, because sometimes I think we got to give space. In that we're used to wanting things right away. Having why didn't go this way? Why didn't go that way? Why didn't get that job? But it's because the universe is setting something up for you much better and much greater
Right.
for your highest good. So we got to like step back. We might not know
Right.
it at the time when something happens, it feels negative, but guess what? And if it's going to work better for the future. It's
And
part
that's something that people should put into their spiritual toolbox. To the knowing that the universe is setting up something better for
the
you.
universe conspires for your highest good.
Yes.
It's true.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, that's
I,
so
I,
true.
I have understanding the universal laws. So action
Oh,
reaction. What you give out, you get back. So that everything is energy, and your thoughts are energy. And what kind of energy are you sending out to the world? So if we're sending
yes.
everything out energy on another level, many see that the lights and the colors and the texture and the shapes, if you will, of that thought. And that thought not only affects that person, but it has a rippling effect to everybody else. So it's like a rock in the lake, and they're rippling. That's exactly what your thoughts do. So are you responsible for your thoughts? So being responsible for your thoughts, the universal laws of cause and effect. What are you giving out? You're giving out love and beauty and happiness and compassion, or are you giving out hate
And
and
negativity.
negativity? What are you drawing? And remember, we're magnets. We're all magnets. So you are magneting. You're bringing to your universe. You're bringing what you think. What you think is your reality. Right now, as you sit here, you're a total summation of everything you thought before. Here it is. So it's really that awareness.
Wow.
Yeah.
So true. Oh my gosh, James, that's a good one.
And another one I have, Kelly, is connect to nature.
Oh,
Connect
excellent.
to the oneness of all things, to the life
Right.
force, the prana, and everything,
Yes.
nature, animals. I like to merge myself with the flowers or the trees and be kind of like in a weird way. And then I go back to something you said before. I have to go back to it because I wrote it down. But merging myself with, let's say, the trees are blooming, I become that tree. And what does it feel like to be in bloom? That flower, what's it feel like? It's just coming up from the dirt, or or the animal. What is it? When I got to my Maisie when she passed, what does it feel like as I become her? She becomes switch places. It really
Wow.
is an amazing observational exercise.
Yes. That's a great one.
Yeah, the resilience. Going back to your resilience, which I think is fabulous. And you said something which really just. You said there's one person in your life. I learned this from Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers, right? So Fred Rogers in his documentary, which was fabulous,
Yeah,
but
it's fabulous.
he
Yeah.
said, for every single person out there, if you ever feel bad, remember that in your life, there's probably one person in your life who said something very positive to you. That's where you want to
It
put
chills
yourself.
when you said that.
And that helped me. I mean, that helped
Right.
me.
All it takes is one person.
My first, Connie, the lady who
I
kind
was
of
thinking of Connie actually
surrogate
when,
mother.
yeah.
My
Mhm.
my book is dedicated to her, my Fucking to
Yeah.
Heaven book. And she was I had a
Right.
rough childhood, and she said, well, we
Right.
all did, but in some way, she said, there's something special about you. Don't ever, let that light go, or whatever it was she said in those words. And that meant the world to me because I respected her and knew what she was about. And that got me through tough times. And
Right.
that was my strength. That was my resilience. And it still is to this
And
day.
it still is.
Sure.
Isn't that amazing? And you
Yeah.
devoted the book to her, to Talking to
I
Heaven.
did. I
I
dedicated
know.
my first book
That's
to
how
God.
important this was. No,
I
I
wouldn't
know.
be here. We would
I
not be here
know.
today.
We would not be here. That's so true. But if that's all it takes is one. And I have to tell you, I've been watching, which I just loved, the Julia Child. If anybody's watching Julia on HBO, it's so good. And I have a chef's background and I love Julia Child. So I just have to say I love Julia Child. But there's this one scene where Julia, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to blow it for people who haven't seen it, but there's this one scene where she gets attacked literally by, of all people, Betty Friedan. Betty Friedan. And basically, it's kind of a true story. They had some
Who's
sort of a,
Betty Friedan,
she
Kelly? Who's
was the
that?
woman's feminist. She wrote The Feminine Mystique, and she was
Okay.
very intense. And like she thought that Julia was, here, Julia, you're trying to keep women in the kitchen. And she's like, no, I'm not. I'm just trying to teach people how to cook. I mean, it was just crazy. But in the one scene, Fred Rogers comes to her aid. So when you said that, I just almost died. I started crying when I saw the scene, James. He said to her, hi there, my name is Fred. He said, I'm your friend. And it was like, oh my God. Yeah, so good. That was a good one.
What's the name of that show, Kelly?
Julia on
Julia
HBO
on
from about
HBO.
Julia Child. Oh, James, I just love it. I
Here's
just love it.
Connie. That's a picture of Connie.
Oh, look at you. Oh, she's beautiful, James.
And that's my dog Sheena at the time.
Oh, Sheena, you look so good. What a handsome guy.
Yes,
Oh my God. She
those
looks
mullet
like she
days.
could have been your mother.
Well, she really kind of was.
I know, but she looks like you. Oh,
Yeah,
so
Connie was great.
cute.
Yeah. I
Oh,
predicted her passing, but I was sitting with her and I saw, and all of a sudden her husband walked in and I felt, oh my God, heart attack. And he was going out to jog. And I thought, oh, God, I can't say anything. And a year later, I got a phone call from her husband, and it was just after a reading I did. This was many, many years back.
ah,
And he said, I have some sad news. Connie just passed away of a heart attack.
ah.
59.
Oh,
So,
that's so young.
so young.
Oh
So
my God. Do you feel her presence around? I think
I
I do.
do.
I
I
do
do
too.
now.
I think
Whoa,
now I do.
she's a real strong
Yes.
house. Whoa.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so funny when you don't feel your loved ones for a while, and then all of a
Mm,
sudden they come in. My friend Olivia, who passed over, and I
yeah.
was holding British friend Olivia, and she showed me what it was like when she passed. And I said to someone on my show the other day, I said, she never has been around. Well, the other night she came in spades, boy. She came in and she said, where have you been? She goes, oh, I've been busy. What do you think? I've been busy. I'm
Busy.
gonna come back here. I've been busy.
What do you think?
What do you think about this one? Ah, they're confused. What is, there's so much to learn. It's so funny. Don't take things so seriously, she said. Tell everyone not to take things so seriously. It doesn't mean anything. She was like,
But that's such good advice.
And she's Aquarian. She was an Aquarian. She was very much she went on my cruises, and she used to have the whole ship laughing, and it was fabulous. She really was. She is.
Oh,
So she came back. That happens to all of us. We put the thought out there, and you're open and hearing it. You can.
right. Right. Oh my gosh. Well, I have another one for everybody. So, how about this? Be creative. Put this in your emotional toolbox, your psychological toolbox. Creativity
Right.
boosts our mental health. Okay. It's an asset and it's something that we can use every day. And everyday creativity could just be the way you attack doing day to day activities. And you might just be a little more, make things a little more, I don't know, personal or a little more motivational or something. It's the way you perceive life is with creativity. It will really help you in times of stress.
Change the living room furniture around. Move your furniture around the
Move your
house.
furniture around. That'll do it. Drive
That's
a different way to work. Go a different way.
wear
There's
something you've never worn before.
there you go.
I wore a tunic the other day. I haven't worn that since Roman days. So that's really fun.
That's going back.
Yeah, act like a different person. Act like I don't know, something
Right.
else.
But just be creative. Be
I had a, I,
creative.
had a friend, I had a friend, and we had a Russian hat day. We had a hat day where we put Russian hats on, fur hats, and we
Wait, Russian? I don't know if that's a good thing right now.
not now, but just the having of something that's goofy. Pajama day. We had pajama day. We wore
Yeah,
pajamas.
I love pajama day.
Oh,
I love that.
old classic movie day.
Oh,
Stuff like that.
you know what? I love pajama day, old classic music day, movie day
Oh, what?
with Bloody Mary day. That's what I need. Sherry
I
Kinnett.
have,
She's
yes,
She
yes.
says, the universe set this show up from you guys at the perfect time for me. Need these spiritual tools to decide whether to continue teaching next year or head down a new pathway. This decision has been weighing me down. I feel much lighter now. Thank you. Oh, good, Sherry.
And use this eclipse, Sherry, to know what you're going to be doing. Go
Change
deep within.
roads. Yeah.
Yeah.
Change roads. Time to
Change
do it.
roads. Change roads. I have in my toolbox discernment.
Oh, let's
Have you
talk. Let's chat.
heard-
The big one. Discernment is everything. It might be number one on my list, actually, James. Discernment. It's so good. I'm so glad you came up with that. So let's talk about it.
Yeah. Go right ahead, Kelly.
Well, for me, I had to learn, especially coming into all these spiritual gifts, I had to discern who I told information to, how I told information to. Is it safe to give information? I had to really learn what kind of people am I dealing with. I had to really learn discernment about myself and other people, frankly.
Yeah, it's
What?
the same here. So discernment with people,
Yeah.
and now I'm still using it in that. And I'm not wrong when I discern between. I mean, 40 years of using my intuition with people. I know how they tick. They
Right.
might present themselves one way,
Right.
but I know inside they're completely different. So discernment, and never, I always give people the benefit of the doubt, but I'll never go against what I feel inside myself because I know what that universe is tuning fork, that intuition is always right.
Absolutely.
So that's discernment, and discernment with business, discernment with people you do business with,
Yeah.
always,
Yeah. That's
right?
huge.
Discernment is also trust, who you trust and who you don't trust. Discern what's genuine, what's not genuine.
Yeah.
Discern what's people's intentions.
Mm-hmm.
What are their intentions?
Right.
I got messed up on that one because I could see someone who seems very spiritual, and there you go. And then later on, I found, the intention is different. And they can be nicey nice, and they can, they just want a reading from me, right? How many of those?
I wouldn't know what you're talking about.
And people at parties just to get a reading. Yeah.
Oh,
sure.
yes,
So,
yeah.
the worst thing for Brian when I was married to Brian was
I know.
he became friends with people on my cruises, and these couple of ladies emailed him, and he found out a year or two later that all they wanted was to get to me, and that was hard for him because you know that one.
I do, and I did, and I remember.
And I have, and it happened to you recently. And
it happens to me, and yes, in my situation, it does happen. Yes, and it's a drag.
And that goes into the next one, which I have, which discernment. I was at an event this weekend with some people who I told you earlier, socializing. The lady compared to Gary Geller, right? So
he's the spoon guy.
He's an illusionist.
Yeah.
And she comes up to an illusionist, said, well, he's different than I am. You should see me work before you make a judgment call. So discernment. And then teaching others to understand the differences.
Oh.
So assisting teaching others to understand.
Yes.
No, it's not the What about this way? Can we look at it with this possibility? Is that
Yeah.
different perspective? Put different glasses on.
Yes.
Another person's point of view. Try to help them to see someone else's point of view
I
and not
always
be
say move the lens this way, change the lens, move it over here, move it over here. Because James, on the other side, when they're looking at us, they're looking at it from every lens like
you
this.
bet. And we're myopic. That's it. And we
We're
should not.
so myopic here. Oh my God, it's so true.
I was talking to a friend last week, a couple of weeks ago, and said, we should do something with compound eyes. The insects
Oh, I
got
love that.
compound eyes because they see all
Right.
different ways,
Oh,
magnification.
so true. Oh my God.
And you see it from someone else's perspective. Try to see the possibilities because there are endless possibilities.
Endless
See,
possibilities.
endless possibilities. People, I think, want to hold on to something and grab it and judge it and hold because they want to feel secure about it. When really, that's not the way it is at all.
I
You
know.
see?
I know. That's so true. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I've got a good one here. So you've heard me talk about somatic experience therapy. So that's for people who have had a lot of trauma and they're looking for a therapist. Somatic means of the body. So put this in your toolbox because you may be somebody who needs to see a therapist, or you may know somebody who's had a lot of trauma that needs to see a therapist. And this is the website is traumahealing.org. Traumahealing.org. That's for somatic experience therapy. Another thing that you might want to try, and then again, put this in your toolbox, your psychological toolbox, is EMDR. And there's a difference, and I'm going to talk about that. EMDR is it's eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. Say that
Excuse
three
me.
times. Yeah, just
Wow.
say EMDR. And EMDR is used for trauma, and it has to do somewhat with tapping therapy, but I'm going to talk about tapping therapy in a next after this. But EMDR is the ability to help you release trauma. And you might find a good therapist that does this because it would be really good for people. But another one is EFT, and that is emotionally focused therapy for stress. And emotional focused therapy,
Never heard of it.
well, EFT is also emotional freedom technique. It goes by either one. It's all about tapping. Tapping. You've heard
Sure.
of tapping, and so this is a therapy that was based on the combined principles, if you can imagine this, of Chinese acupressure and modern psychology. So
Wow.
it's based on the meridian points. And what EFT does is it focuses your attention inward to bring awareness to an emotion or a
So you can
problem.
release it. So you can
You can
release it.
release it, and the tapping restores wellness by releasing stuck emotions or stuck memories, and it really helps calm down the nervous system. So it's
True.
a really, really good one for your
Must have.
toolbox to know that it's available for you out there.
It's good, Kelly. Wow. Yeah. I have also, well, we talked about this a little bit, but volunteering with a community, becoming part of a community, connected with community. And I have a desire to make the world a better place.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Desire to make the world a better place. How am I going to make this place different than it should be better than when I found it? How is it different? What have I done to make this place a different, better place than when I found it? And you don't have to worry about the macrocosm. Yes, there's bad things going on out there. You first start with the microcosm because that can
Right.
affect macrocosm. First start with self. So
Right.
making your own little solar system there, a good solar system that
And
will help.
having the consciousness of that, of making the world a better place, leaving the
Right.
place. When you leave, you want to know what you've left some good things here.
Exactly. You can look back at your life and say, wow, I'm really pleased with the life I've lived. That's
Right?
that's a successful life. A
Yeah.
successful life is having the ability to look back at the life you just lived and say, that's a successful life. I'm really happy with the life I left there.
Right.
And you can,
And
well,
it's not too late to do that. It's not too
that's
late
right.
to do that. Let's
It's
say
perfect.
you're 60 years old and you're thinking, oh, my life is over. It's been for shit. No, 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 no. Go into the toolbox, pull out some of these tools and make a change because everybody has the ability to make a change. Everybody, actually. Um,
Meditation, Carol Blake says,
cool.
meditation, love meditation is how I get God whispers and writing inspiration. Yes. And what's that saying? We
Yeah.
speak meditation, God hears us or we
It's a
listen.
yes. Yeah. And yes.
Right. And meditation to me is and you don't have to be a formal meditation. It's really just getting into the silence of your being, the stillness of your soul, and that could do. You could do that through. I do it through watering my garden, or today I was cutting roses. I was doing that
Oh, I bet it was
meditation.
beautiful.
Beautiful bouquet. I should have put them up here.
Oh,
And yeah, it's that replacing your mind in a space that's relaxation. So I
yes.
also have, in my house, I have a TV that I keep it on a beautiful visual. I play
It's a
YouTube,
great idea.
and it's beautiful music all
Mhm.
day. And it's at megahertz. It's 480, the love megahertz.
Yes.
That's playing all the time in my house. So it's setting up
Oh,
the energy, the space. So
yes.
cleansing the space you live in. Really a good one.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Joe
Saves you.
Sunderledge. James, I was sorry not to be chosen in your May 6th event, but wanted to thank you for such a wonderful gathering of souls who came through.
Well, thank you,
Wow.
Joe. Thank you. I'm sure your energy helped with bringing through other souls, and I'm going to have another event. So thank you, Joe. I'm going to have an event on May 20th, and this is a VIP event, and this is 75 people max, and I do 2 hours worth of readings, and they're pretty cool. And I had one Friday, I did a general one, but the readings have been
Oh,
whacked
I
out.
bet.
Incredible. So this is a good one, the 75 people one. It's going to go quickly. So go to eventprog.com and sign up if you'd like to attend that. And 2 hours of me just going fast. Really interesting. Every time I do it, it's something different comes through. So
Didn't you just have one with a covered wagon?
I
Or
Friday, one of the readings, a family came through, and I was able to, the more I do it, the more it's really consistent. And I saw rows of her family. Not necessarily one person she wanted to contact, because to work faster, I say, who do you want to contact? She said, I want my father, John. Okay, so if John is there, I can bring him through. But there were other people right in that space, and I was getting rows of people.
oh,
Went back to this
sure.
lady's ancestors, and they were in covered wagons. And I said, "You're from covered wagons. You're prairie people." And she goes,
Wow.
"Yes, I know that, but my great great grandparents, they were prairie people. They came in covered wagons," because I saw it in my mind's eye. So I work with the strangest, oddest things. I ask Spirit to give me the most unique type of evidence,
Right.
because we will know who it belongs to. And they did the other night also, Kelly. Two girls came through. One lady wanted to speak to her daughter, and that daughter was coming through, but it was getting overshadowed by another person. And it was another girl who had passed who came with this girl to the event, and
Wow.
her was also there. But they died. One died of cancer, one died of suicide. So, but they became friends, waiting to get into the Zoom call to speak to their mothers. So it was
Wow. That's amazing.
wild.
Amazing. That's wild.
Yeah. So, and May 20th, if you want to come to the next one,
Oh,
this is a VIP one, smaller amount of people and a lot of readings. So and it sells out quickly. So do that. Okay.
wow. Um, I have another one. I've
I
got
bet
another
you
one here.
do.
Okay, let's talk about mental flexibility because I think this is
Oh, that's a good
really,
one.
isn't that a
That's
good
a good
one?
one. Yes, that's
So,
a good
how do you deal with frustration? So, this is, I want everybody to think, how do you feel? How do you deal with frustration? Because I'm going to give you an
one.
example. Let's say you have a situation that for whatever reason you plan for it and you plan for it and it doesn't work out for you. So, do you go to plan B? Do you act out? What do you do? If the answer is I go to plan B, then guess what? You are a flexible thinker. And that is so important because in your toolbox, you want to keep flexibility, mental flexibility anywhere. And let me tell you how to increase your flexibility if you are a little bit stuck on only plan A.
Or
Okay,
fixed as we
if
call
you're
it.
a little fixed, absolutely, if you're a little fixed, you want to do something that gets you out of your comfort zone. So what would that be like? It could be learn something new every day, challenge yourself to learn something new so you can get out of your comfort zone and set intentions that you're going to get out of your comfort zone. It's really important to
Lizette
be.
Perez, I deal with frustration with laughter, which I agree with
Oh, I
her.
love it.
But
I love it. I
yeah, it's
love
very
that
great.
one.
Sing a song. Ann Buffington, sing a song. Go for a walk.
Right.
And Kyle, Kyle, I start cutting and pruning. I love it. My property. Me too. Me too.
Right. You're really good at that.
I do. I do.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
God.
she wants to know what to name the pups. Jody wants to know what to name the pups. The pups are came with a lot of great names. And people asked me what they named the pups. There was Salt and Pepper. There was Ginger, Fred and Rogers, Fred and Ginger. There were so many great ones. Wilma and Fred. It's Pearl and Minnie. So Minnie
I
Pearl was
love it.
Minnie Pearl is a famous stand-up comedian, country singer,
Yeah.
really country stand-up
With big hat.
comedian. And big hat, she was at a tag.
Yeah.
And she wanted to say, howdy. And I remember as a little boy, I used to love her. That she's so crazy. I love it. So out of respect to her, Pearl and Minnie, and Maisie actually gave me the name Pearl. Maisie said her name. Maisie told me her name Pearl. And then Minnie came from that. So Minnie and Pearl.
I love it, Minnie and Pearl. I just
I'd
love
say
that.
I'd say about Maisie coming to me this weekend.
I heard you talking about it on the show. That's amazing.
Here this morning, it was a wild story. I was driving back from this weekend from a trip I was on, and my dog Maisie had passed, came to me, and she was exhausted. I'm like, "What's the matter, Maisie?" She was this wilted thing. I'm like, "What's the matter, honey?" And she was like on the seat, and she was lying. And I know that she was drained energetically because she's been running around with the puppies, helping them, teaching them. As a mama, she would, but I've never had that experience ever, Kellee.
Wow.
That animal and the animal world, of course, the intelligence of that world. And she was just showing me she was depleted from working with those puppies. So I'm like,
so she was giving you a heads up for you.
Yes, she was.
Wow. That's amazing. Wow.
So
wow.
I think they'll be completely toilet trained when I get them. I think they'll know exactly when to eat and when to go on a run. Yeah.
She'll have them like this.
She already does.
Listen, he can't stand this. Do this. Don't act this way. Get in shape. If only my dog on the other side could help me with Otis, I would just be so happy.
Otis is fixed.
Okay, he is so fixed, James. Today, I'm trying to get him to take his Bravecto for fleas. And we gave him peanut butter, forget about it. We gave him cream cheese, forget about it. So today I went to the store and I bought him a liverwurst. I mean, yuck. And he spit it out.
Oh, you're kidding.
I said, all right, buddy, you are getting a flea collar.
And you live on a farm.
I live on a farm. He has to have something. I can't just let him go willy-nilly. So... Oh my God. You see, this is how flexible we are. Yeah, Braunschweiger. It was something like that. Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is so funny. Oh yes, and I have a show coming, not a show, an event coming up on June 11th. It's part 1 is on June 11th, and then it's a 3-part series of Atlantis and Lemuria. And it's going to be amazing. If you ever had any thoughts of that you lived in Atlantis, or if you had a lifetime in Lemuria, you probably did. So please come and join us. We're going to be doing a meditation. We're going to be talking about the gifts from there. We're going to be talking all about these lost continents, what happened to the lost continents. And I think it's especially important now because our world is really in a chaos state. And I have to believe that this kind of chaos went on during the lost continents.
Sure, and there's no one better to guide you than Kellee, because she does her research. She Virgoized everything.
Oh
so.
no, I do. If you've taken any classes, you're gonna walk out of there. Your head's gonna be like this.
Here's ready. I mean, you stayed in that class with the big toe guy. What's his name?
I stayed the whole time. You stayed 5 minutes. I did whole feet. You did not even a pinky toe in there.
How do you take the sock off? It was what was it? He was a great teacher.
Tom, professor.
Yeah,
Tom Campbell. Tom Campbell. Oh,
great.
Brilliant. PhD, brilliant.
Like so, I was too much information for me. I was overwhelmed.
So I stayed, and then afterwards, when we all met with Tom, he said, "Where's James?" And I go, "You see, I didn't know how to answer that." James, that was funny.
Beyond him.
Oh my God, it was really funny. But he is brilliant.
He's brilliant, and you do your research and you know things, and you really should go to that. That's if you're interested.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Well, this was great. Guess what? Next week, James, we're going to be doing Dreams Part 2. So get ready for your dreams, everybody. Let us know what you're dreaming. We're going to talk about dreams, all kinds of types of dreams here.
Wow.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Renee. Thanks, James.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
That was great. Maybe we changed some lives.
And maybe opened up some minds.
Which way do I turn?
Right. I mean left.